Hey everybody, welcome back to the Echo Chamber. My name is Carlton Cole, and if you're new here, consider subscribing and sharing these videos around, hitting the bell for notifications. You can leave a like and comment, and of course, share these videos around as it helps us to beat the censors. Now, if you notice on your screen the word projecting. Now, the reason I point this out is because this is a tactic of the Democratic Party, the far left, which is the Democratic Party right now. The far left, the extremists, those that want to tax the crap out of you for global warming. And I'm not saying that global warming doesn't exist. I'm saying that plants use carbon, and it's the building block of structure and function in a cell, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, check this out. So John Kerry, who is the climate czar, is now flying his private jet across the world and is emitting more CO2 in the atmosphere than you or I will in our lifetime. 20 hours is how long he spent in the air last week. 20 hours on a private jet. There was less than a handful of people on that private jet. And his response was, well, I have to. Okay, well, whatever you say. So, lead by example. Try that. Try that, John. Okay, projecting. When you point out actions in someone else that really are the things that you do. This is the left, okay? And the reason I bring this up is because they called Trump a fascist. Do you remember? Constantly. Fascists, right? Racists. We are racists for voting for Donald Trump, even though there were plenty of minority groups that voted overwhelmingly for President Donald Trump. Now, this is actually what they do. They are racist. They are saying that if you are white, you are what's wrong with America. If you are a black person, you need the government to give you reparations for something that never happened to you, right? This is, in essence, racism. When you tell me that you're going to pick Kamala Harris, who is underqualified, who only got where she is today by some shady means, we'll say. So you're going to tell me that it's not racist or sexist for you to pick Kamala Harris because she's a woman of color. Interesting. Projecting. That's what's happening here. They are pointing the finger when they got three pointing back at them. Okay? Now, I want to point out something very interesting. Now, if you're not aware by now, when you Google things, those results are filtered by Google itself. That's why I recommend you use DuckDuckGo.com. So, the reason that I use Google is to show you guys the interesting results that I get. Okay? So don't forget this. Projecting. When somebody is pointing at you, they got three fingers pointing back at themselves. Jesus said, take the log out of your eye before you can see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Okay? They called Donald Trump a fascist. What they are doing now by turning the National Guard and giving lethal force protocol to the National Guard, when they are fencing off D.C., permanent fencing, barbed wire fencing, when they are censoring free speech, when they are not allowing you to go to church, not allowing you to protest, this is fascism. Now, if you're not aware of the definition of fascism, I'm going to show you Merriam-Webster and their definition. Okay? It says a political philosophy, movement, or regime such as that of the fascista that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader. Severe economic and social regimentation and forcible suppression of oppression. Doesn't that sound familiar? A tendency toward or actual exercise of strong autocratic or dictatorial control. Okay, now that's Merriam-Webster. Okay? Now let's look at Wikipedia. Fascism is a form of far-right authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong of society and of the economy. Okay, what does that sound like? Okay, first of all, they put far right in there, and they give you the option to look at see what they think far right means. Let me tell you the truth here, okay? Hitler was not far right, okay? The truth is that Hitler was far left. He banned the guns. He controlled the books that people were allowed to read. Hitler was left. All these fascists, they were left. They used the government, the big government that they used to suppress opposition and enslave and murder people. Okay? What you can't tell me that you're not a fascist leader when you have the National Guard, 5,000 troops stationed in D.C. because you are afraid of the people. You don't have the National Guard there because you're afraid of foreign entities. You are afraid of your own people. And we see this. We see the elites, they don't have to work hard at controlling people because people want to use Facebook. People want to use YouTube. And so to avoid being banned on these platforms, they follow the code of conduct. They don't have to work hard. The government doesn't have to work hard to censor you because they've got big tech. They've got Facebook. Do you remember when Hunter Biden's story came out? They censored the story by temporarily disabling the speaker, the president's, you know what I'm trying to say, the president's press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. They suppressed the story. New York Times, they shut that page and that story down for political gain. And the left applauded. They loved it. Now, when you Google Hunter Biden investigation, the top results are Hunter Biden released memoir in April. Hunter Biden memoir, Beautiful Things, to be published in April, will detail drug addiction. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be kicked out of the Navy for snorting some cocaine. It's a beautiful thing to impregnate a prostitute or a stripper and avoid paying child support. That's a beautiful thing, Hunter. So this is how they're censoring. I mean, you can scroll down, and look, USA Today, fact check, an update, PolitiFact. These are mouthpieces of the Democratic Party. Okay, moving on. This is interesting. The Pentagon orders stand down across military to investigate extremism in the ranks, aka a purge. They are going to purge the conservative people. Just a side note. Joe Biden signed an executive order allowing transgender people to continue to serve in the military. Now, what that's going to look like is biological male are going to be kind of cringing. I mean, it's just natural. I mean, And here's the thing. I don't 100%. I don't 100%. Now let me be clear. There's a big part, a big percentage that I do blame those that want this sex change. But do you know what they are putting in our foods? Do you know what a lot of these plastics have in them? Estrogen mimickers. They're talking about this, and they, in China, they are trying to make men and boys more masculine. That's their whole MO. Meanwhile, in this country, they're trying to demasculate men. This is what's happening. And Biden has now, and you know what? The truth is, it's mostly men wanting to become women, and it's because of what they put in our foods. I will link in the description some articles that support this, but let's continue reading here. Biden's newly appointed Pentagon chief, Austin Lloyd, Wednesday issued a stand down for the next 60 days, ordering military leaders to spend time talking to troops in an effort to weed out extremism in the ranks, after it came to light that a number of former and current military members participated in the riot at the U.S. Capitol last month. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered a Department of Defense-wide stand-down to discuss the problem of extremism in the ranks. Pentagon Press Secretary John F. Kirby said in statement, "The stand-down will occur over the next 60 days, Kirby said, allowing that each service, each command, and each unit can take the time out to have these needed discussions with men and women of the force. Training materials will be developed and sent out to units so they can have discussions about the issue." The military was one of the very first government organizations to end segregation. That's just the truth. And the reason that is because, we want more troops. Okay? So, racism in the military is not common at all. And if it is, it's a joke. But remember when we used to be able to joke with each other about, the color of our skin and that kind of thing, rib each other and stuff like that. Dave Chappelle made a career on it. Key and Peele. When is the racism going to be even across the board? And what I mean by that is, when are we going to hold the same standard for black people as white people? You don't get a hate crime if you're a black person and you call a white dude a cracker and then you smack him in the head. But you say the N-word to a black guy and you smack him in the head, that's a hate crime. Ignorant. Okay? So let me just break this down for you. This stand-down order is for white nationalism. Do you know anybody that would consider themselves a white nationalism? A white nationalist? No, you don't know them because they don't exist, okay? This is fabricated in an effort to weed out those that may be loyal to the former president because we were winning. And we can't win. This country, we're not allowed to win. That's why the Democrats are so excited about taking control. They want socialist medicine. These are the fascists. And when they say that Donald Trump is a fascist, when they say that you're a Nazi, this is projection at its finest. These people are bold. And they will continue to be bold until we see people grow a backbone. Now, politicians, they don't have a backbone. A lot of them, they just want your taxpayer dollars. And they're good at getting it. So we're going to leave it there. Make sure you subscribe, share these videos as much as possible so that we can reach as many people as possible. God bless.